I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche. Be pleased to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Hello, Radiant Soul Lights. Great to connect with you here. If you're new to the program, welcome. I'm Michele, and you've tuned into Awakenings. Those of you that have been traveling this wonderful soul path road with me and are co-creating this, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself, for others, and thanks for co-creating this amazing community. Really appreciate all of you. Got a great program today. I'm really excited. We have Reck back on from Minnow Pond Tarot. We are going to be diving into challenging the current beliefs or existing beliefs. What's existing? That's kind of the key word here, existing. And talking about manifesting your soul's purpose. I'll be taking calls 347-539-5122, 347-539-5122, and press 1 on your keypad. And we will be taking calls during Chris's interview and our awakening conversation related to manifesting your soul's purpose, challenging existing views and beliefs. So if that's, so it won't be personal. I'll do personal individual, but this is a very important program. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I want to dive in with other amazing, what I would say, thought leaders, or moving beyond collective mainstream thought leaders, because you know the drill. We're the ones we've been waiting for. So I really want to reinforce that. Oh, people getting settled in the chat. Hello in the chat, Sacred Space of Empowerment Room. Also my sound engineers, they let me know how the sound is, and also they really help ground the energy. So if you're listening by phone or internet, that's great. If you want to call in, press 1 on your keypad, and that number is 347-539-5122, and please press 1 on your keypad to get in the queue to get on air. 347-539-5122, press 1 on your keypad. All right, before I forget, because I tend to, want to make sure everyone knows that this weekend, the 30th, which is a Saturday, I am doing a workshop and healing session with a sound bath, okay? It's holographic emotional clearing and repatterning, very powerful, energetic processes. We'll be doing a little bit of timeline work as well. And then have an amazing sound healer, Dale Brew. We're going to be doing crystal bowl sound healing. So with her amazing singing bowls that are very healing. Some of you have heard me talk about her singing bowls. That they talk to me. They're very vocal. So we'll see what comes through. Maybe even channel a bit of information from them. I've noticed even in my readings, my Soul Path readings on YouTube, that my crystals have been sometimes falling for no reason, just rolling or falling into the reading, or nudging me, or just pulling on me energetically with messages. So that just tells me so much is going on right now that, you're probably going to see more vocalization from the animal beings around you, your pets, your little dogs, cats, whatever. Trees. Really listen right now. This is so much a time to listen. That's why I actually have not been posting as much on social media because I'm doing a lot of listening, deep dive listening more. Sue, wish I could be there in person for the bowls. Yeah, well, the thing is, we did do a sound check. So for this workshop, let me describe more of it. All you need to do is have a headset. And it's kind of good to, in a way, not be in person because we're going to end with that. So I'm going to do the attunement work. We're going to do the clearing work and attunement and work through the subtle energy and really expand everyone. So you're really, pretty much getting out of your body. You're getting more into the light body, connecting into the Merkaba, that vehicle. So that will be guided. I will be doing that after the clearing. After we do the deeper inner work, then we're going to extend energetically. And then it's all about connecting more to the soul matrix, so what I call the hologram. Because we are these holographic. So there's a lot of important inner work that's to be done, really starting next year, but I really like to get a jump on things, where we're working more within the existing matrix of the human hologram, what we're dealing with in kind of the human ego matrix, which has to do with ancestral work, generational transmission, familial work, all of that within the collective to get actually into our holographic aspect of our being, which is where the soul is. It's through the light body. We connect into the Merkaba, that same thing, vehicle of light. So it's about getting to your original design, the soul matrix. So on a cellular level, this work is so powerful. It's on a cellular level as well as an energetic. And then in that state will be the healing energy of the crystal bowls, the singing bowls, okay? So, which I find is amazing. Because sometimes people can't, getting a little help to extend or expand out. And when you're in that state of consciousness or awareness, when you're all, see, most sound baths, you're just, people come and lay down. So it doesn't, in person, out of person, it doesn't matter. And me, of course, as being a psychic channel and a medium and doing this kind of work for many, many years via phone and video conferencing, with the intention, if you have someone that can give energetic transmissions, it is just like being there in person. In fact, sometimes even better because you're not distracted by surroundings, or sometimes when you're in a sound bath, it's a little too cold. Usually that's what most people complain. That kind of wakes them up. Their body gets cold because your temperature drops, or they have to get up. People don't want to have to get up. I know I don't a lot of times when I do these kind of healing sessions in person. So the beauty of any of this work, all of my hypnotherapy or deep inner work or traveling work, is you don't have to go anywhere. You have your blankets, have the temperature just right for you. And you don't have to get up. You don't even have to talk. You don't have to deal with getting up, putting your shoes back on, your clothes, walking home or driving home. You don't have to do any of that. You can stay in that cocoon. And I'm finding more and more people as I'm doing more, even of these Zoom workshops. It was starting to happen in the teleworkshops a little bit, but it's funny because people are we're a lot more chatty in the teleworkshops. I will get the email later like, oh my God, it was so amazing, but I was so out there. I was so out of my body, or I was so extended out of my body, or I was so deep within, I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to lay there. Or some people fall asleep, and then I get the email, it was so deep, I couldn't even talk. So there's something to that transcendent experience when it's not dependent on the location. And then the beauty, what I also really, really, really love, because I've been doing this kind of work via phone and video for, I don't know how many years, since the late 90s, is that when you do a lot of this kind of work in your own space, you begin to build up that Shakti, that grace, that transcendent, transpersonal energy. you create a sacred space. So every time you do any kind of inner workshop like this in your home, over and over and over, because the thing is, I have that in my house, I have that in my healing office, because I'm doing this every single day, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it also sets up these amazing positive triggers. Most people don't have this in their house unless you're a deep meditator and you're meditating every day, or hours, you have to do it consistently. That's why people visit sacred sites, because that energy begins to amass, aggregate in the energetic field of your house, etherically, of your room, wherever you're doing this deep inner work, this connecting spiritually. When you do it over and over, there is an overlay in the etheric field, and it begins to your house. I've had people that I know that have been amazing healers that have done this kind of work over and over, and they may have lived in an area that was not so good, maybe, kind of like high crime, but yet all around their perimeter, their house and around it is this amazing healing energy, and nothing happens to them. So we all are interconnected through the subtle energy anyway. So this kind of teaches, and I think that's this whole idea of social media, maybe connecting more through the subtle energy, is teaching us that we're not dependent on, to some degree, time and space. We're able to traverse beyond that. And we all have that interconnection to the subtle energy. I just remember the quantum physicist that was on our program, Dr. Maynard, who in his book, I don't remember the name of it, but he had a chapter on the subtle energy, and that's what I've been dealing with for years and years and years. And he said, in this new world, in this new paradigm, people are going to have to know more about the subtle energy and the importance of it, how to access. So this is about, we can't get to the light body if we're so focused on the denser physical reality. We have to understand that we are interconnected to everything and everyone, to kind of a gossamer of light, through that light body, through the subtle energy. We are all interconnected, and that's where most lasting change happens from and ends. It's the beginning and the end, and also the middle, because if you're doing processing work. But you can avoid, I've worked with somebody before that I saw years ago when I was doing some healing work. I picked up they had tuberculosis, and I could see it in their etheric body. And what was very interesting, they had, I don't know what they were doing in New York, but anyway, they had been there and they did have tuberculosis. They had gotten out of the hospital like 3 weeks ago. It was still showing in their etheric body. And this was a new client of mine, so I didn't know anything about them. They were referred to me. So what was very interesting is I picked up that, and then I picked up some herbs, Chinese herbs that would be helpful. Gave them a list, because as a medical intuitive, sometimes I can scan, depending on what people need. I'm able to do that. And so a week later, I get an email back that she had gone to her Chinese medical doctor, acupuncturist and naturopath, who also is works with Chinese herbs. And the herb was a complex of herbs, compound. The herbs that I had suggested, one was a very obscure one, I don't even remember what it was in that compound. So you can pick up dis-ease, you can pick up conditions that are forming in the etheric body so they don't have to manifest physically in the denser physical body. You don't have them manifest physiologically. Or if you're healing physically, physiologically, you need to bring in the etheric aspect of you as well. When you do that, then you're getting more into that causal point. You're handling more areas. So a lot of you need to think, let's see, Sue's talking about playing them again, signing me up. Well, yes, Sue, I mean, this is the thing right now. It's the idea of whether in person or with video. Now, mind you, when you're doing it, any kind of sound work, you do have to, mic differently. we tested that. I mean, there's different ways. But it's the whole idea is not to let things stop you. So much happens through our intention, our willingness, applied action, the action that is applied to our intention and via our intention. So we apply this attention or putting our actions towards what our intentions are. And we have to remember that in this interconnectedness, a lot can be done. All right, Radiant Soul Lights, let's just see. We're going to be getting to callers. 347-539-5122 is the number, and press 1 on your keypad. Let's see. Okay, so I am getting so many amazing direction and downloads from the guides. Many of you know I'm a trance channel and a conscious channel. I do both. And this preparation, which is why I launched Soul-Centered Living, because so much change is happening February on of next year. I mean, big, critical change in the collective, in the mainstream world, governmentally. I mean, it's just going to be off the hook. And what that means is some of this will affect people individually, where you're really going to have to decide, what am I believing and what am I wanting to create? Which direction do I want to go in? And that's why I say, even though it's going to be a lot of, oppositional energy, numerically we're in a 42-6, it's that harmony through conflict. Yes, protests. I see a lot of, the biggies, Apple, Facebook, all these big companies being called in, these congressional hearings about social media, about companies, about technology, tech companies, Bitcoin. I see them for the next few years, this meeting, that meeting, Senate meetings or committees, congressional, subpoena this and that, this whistleblower, this and that, governmental this, Supreme Court. It's all that has to do with our foundation and the justice or injustice of it. And you're going to just see a lot of kind of infighting and outfighting. Certain companies that were backing government agendas, now the government's calling them on the carpet, and saying, hey, you have too much power, or you're a monopoly, or you bought up this company and that company. So, yes, protesting in the streets in Washington, all over the world, various cities. But within that, when I always say quiet revolution, there are going to be a lot of people that are just like, even the protesters, I see people just saying, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not subjecting my children to that. They're not going back to school. I'm not going back to work. I'm 5 families living together. I'm going back to live at home, or, I'm renting Airbnb my house, the front of the house, and living in the back. You're going to see all these kind of creative solutions come up, because people are going to start realizing that they are, who is the Messiah, the messenger, the anointed ones, being anointed with spiritual energy, which means being aligned to your soul and your soul's purpose. That's going to be a big part of the awakening. The other part is, I don't want to leave this. I see where we're going. I don't want to leave this to my children. So you're going to see all kinds of committees, the health people, the government health people, the people that are not for the jab or the vax governmentally, the people that are, it's all going to start coming out. The voices being raised, if you will. And of course, amongst that, you're going to have a lot of earth changes, climate changes, issues around water, food chain, sustainability. I said it when I channeled this 4 years ago about trucks. So I kept seeing trucks won't be able to deliver things. There won't be enough truckers. You're going to see unions being squeezed by people, and people going, I'm not going back to, I don't want that jab. I'm not going to go back to trucking and doing this kind of job. I'm going to branch out on my own. This is where I feel like the Underground Railroad and the underground system starts. The underground economy, I feel like it's like people start in small ways, quiet ways, moving more and more out of the system, or being less and less focused in the system. And this is where you're going to see people gathering in different ways, different forms of connecting through community and like-mindedness. And also what my guides have been saying, you're going to be around people that you wouldn't normally associate with or be around, because in the bigger picture of sovereignty, in the bigger picture of your right to choose, your right to be, is going to come into play. So a lot of people are going to have to drop some kind of limiting beliefs of what things look like, or who is spiritual, or who is, it may be that you're a yogi and you believe, that religions are bad, and then who's helping you but that Mormon down the street or born-again Christian is there helping you, you know what I mean? Or the born-again is going to be helped by the yogi, you know what I mean? Those kind of labels and labeling are going to have to be dropping, and that's part of the squeeze, is to relate to ourselves, each other, and our circumstances via vibration. Not so much what people look like visually, like what, but what's the vibe about them, not what they're wearing, because they could be wearing all white and be vegan and, doing all the right yoga things and be way off course. So these stereotypes are going to start being challenged next year a lot, especially mid-year, maybe it's March, April, but into the mid-year, where you have to discern more vibrationally, energetically. You have to discern by, is there enough coherence and resonance, not by what somebody looks like, visually, whether it's racially, or what their clothes look like, or their car, or their house, or their religion. It's about vibration, baby, and this is going to be the navigating principle, is what is the vibration. See, Sunray, what are you talking about? Let me know more about that. Let the conversation, let's see what Sunray, join the conversation. Okay. PSYOP, is that PSYOP? Yeah. I will tell you one thing that I have not only learned from my guides, but also what I have learned from, this is why I haven't come out so much with a lot of stuff, is that if things are on internet, you're not going to be getting the full information. Ted Gunderson, ex-FBI, was the director of Los Angeles FBI, was married for a brief time to one of my teachers. And he said, look, on both sides we have people. The people that think they're very progressive and revolting and going against the government, we have plants there. And we have plants on the left side, the right, whatever side, it doesn't matter. And we control the information. And so that's going to be more and more known, that stuff that is more broadly known that information is being controlled. Where you're getting better information, which is, by the way, not going to have the most likes and subscribers on Facebook, because most people are rehashing. If you listen to what most people are saying, they're rehashing information that is on a few websites, and usually they're giving a polarized point of view, right?
If there's no action, we want to bring in our meteorologist, Derek.
Okay, that's interesting how that came up. Wow. So that's why insight, what's that mean? Would it be possible? What's your question? I guess I want to know what's the exact question, I guess. That helps. So, yeah. It's like, that's why trusting your intuition, because your intuition is going to tell you what you need to know, what you need to focus on. Again, to know where you fit in. What is your soul call? What are you answering to, right? Because in this converging flow, which started in 2005, that part of the awakening, everything is happening at once. The creativity, the solutions, the connecting to the soul, the new order or organization of things from more of the soul design, but also the organization trying to have a new order of control from the invader-dominator culture. Basically, we're really meant to align more or blend this Atlantean energy within us, Atlantis and Lemuria, the head and the heart. I mean, that, if you want to look at it basically, at Atlantean energy, the unhealed aspect is really trying to come through, which forgets about the heart, the feeling, the sensing. It becomes all about the technology, the money, this invader-dominator culture that we've had predominantly on this planet for many, many thousands of years. And that's what this earth has been founded upon. So, and that's a very electrical, very yang energy. So as we bring in more of the magnetic and more of the feminine energy, that begins to balance. This is why trusting your intuition, connecting in through your higher self to your soul is so important, so that we become a bit more yin. We bring in more of that magnetic energy in a new way. So there are going to be a lot of earth, climate, earth, things to do with farming, sustainability. All these things are going to be very, very highlighted next year, kind of at, I would say, like a fever pitch. Whoa, we really need to focus on this. We need, committees about this, think tanks, groups, trying to get to solutions, because there is going to be a lot more awareness. Now, what does that mean? That means there's going to be challenges, whether you want to call it catastrophes or challenges, because it's going to be brought more into the mainstream of what we call race consciousness. So everybody will find their place as where to be. Where is your place in this? Let's see. Anybody question in the chat? Oh, the climate change conference. I feel like what I've been guided is it's a beginning. I do feel that the existing structures do not have the answer yet. I feel like what's happening, especially between now and December, that there's going to be a lot more fact-finding, bringing in other points of view. See, we haven't had an allowing of all points of view. They've been so slanted. Now that people have been going through a lot of what's been happening on the planet individually and navigating it on their own, people will start coming to more informed decisions. Part of that is also a boredom. People are tired of being tired. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's a level that comes when people are ready to change. And we know this in psychology, in psychospiritual psychology, boredom. If you look at it, any problem that you've ever solved, you basically got bored with it. You no longer wanted to do it. It didn't have enough juice. It didn't have enough electrical energy to it to keep you engaged. That's even like with a relationship. When you're done, you're done. No matter what the person tries to do to get you back, you're done. So a lot of people are moving more. There's enough people moving more into, I'm done. I'm too confused. This is confusing. You're telling me this. I was supposed to take this shot and it was supposed to work, and now it's not working. I got to take more. Now you're saying I got to do it every 6 months. Now you're saying maybe 6 months and another booster. Now you're saying yearly with 6 months. Oh, now you're saying it's not going to get rid of it. It's only making the symptoms less extreme. What's going on here? Now you're saying this. Now, so people are going, okay, wait a minute. It's like that relationship. Ray, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes. Wow. That was so strange. Okay, because it's showing that I'm logged in. It was on BTR side because something came up and said, do you want to end the show or continue? And it said you're not connected, but yet I was connected via my phone. All right, let's get to callers. I'm back. Yeah, I know I was here, because when I'm connected, there's a line that streams on my phone, and it showed that I'm connected through my earbud. Okay, I don't know what happened. Let's get to callers and find out what's going on. What's going on here? Unbelievable. All right, let's get to callers. Hello, welcome to Awakening. You're on air.
Why has a degree of my faith to keep me motivated?
Hello.
I work hard for that.
Ooh, sounds like you're having a party. 973 is having a party.
Well,
Portal jump.
10,000 a month.
Music 973.
Aisha just tried to get me out the house again. I was like, Aisha, girl, I got to finish this work.
Okay. I don't know what's going on right now with the energy of the show, but here we go. I mean, portal jump. Nice music, right? Right? Somebody was playing music. 973-704. You were on air. We like your music. Sounded good. Okay, let's see who else. Hi, welcome to Awakenings. You're on air.
Hello.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi.
Hi. What's your first name?
Answering.
What's
just
your first
wanted
name?
to call Cassidy.
Hi, Cassidy. Welcome.
Hello. I have been awakening, I guess, for about 5 years now. And I just started listening to your show a few weeks ago, and I really resonate with everything you're saying, everything that comes out of your mouth. I'm one of those people. I'm tired of my career. I'm coming more in tune with my intuitive abilities. And it feels like everything in my life is at a crossroads right now. And the crossroads, it feels like, is kind of blocking me from being able to move forward spiritually in my career, with my family, and my marriage. I'm progressing. My husband is not, and not at the same rate of speed as me. I'm growing in one direction. He's growing in a different direction. And there's a lot of hanging in the balance of that specifically. Mm-hmm. And I just don't, I'm not getting clear connections with my spirit guides. I don't know what I can do to, I wish this would just come to a conclusion, whether it's our marriage stays together and we stay in this place and I progress spiritually here and change careers, or whether our marriage ends, I make a huge move, I still switch careers. I feel like I'm roadblocked everywhere.
Well, yeah, because when you are roadblocked externally, it's about going within and focusing on us. And I've seen this not just as a psychic medium, trance channel, but as a therapist. I rarely see couples grow at the same rate or same time or in the same way. It's kind of a little cosmic joke, but it's also, our learning is there, right? So in people that are usually awakening, that usually happens. Their family or spouse or best friend isn't yet on the same page. And so that is the message that it's all about us, to focus within. So what I get with you for sure, it's podcasts and things like this where you're getting community. This is about you getting outside support that is in alignment where you're at or where you're going, and focusing on your deeper healing, emotional healing, repatterning, connecting into your spiritual gifts. So sometimes when we're blocked from getting our messages, a lot of times it has because something emotionally is coming up for us. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing that I feel like before you even deal with marriage will be your job, because it's easy, especially in relationships. We all do this. When we're not doing well and we don't know what to do, we point to the outer person, and usually that's the spouse, the partner, the spouse that's closest, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big learning lesson, but also gift when you're partnered on the spiritual path and going through your soul awakening. It's taking that energy and that focus from that person and then saying, okay, how is that a reflection of me, or what can I do for myself, or how can I, heal or empower this part of myself? So I'll suggest a couple things on my website, soulplayground.life, and I believe it's the Soul Path Tools, Soul Path Support. You can copy and paste the 5-step emotional clearing process. That will help you. There's an advanced version of it also in audio, but you can just start with that. Also projection, perception, that will help you. So this is the time for you right now to get the foundation in mental, emotional, spiritual, so that you can start co-creating a reality that's more based on your soul, which then, of course, will affect probably down the road. For both of you, there could be a move, but I feel like for you, it's also about your career, getting into something that's much more soul-aligned for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I have been receiving messages like, it's time to leave, it's time to go, it's okay, this has come to an end. But it doesn't sit well with the reality of the situation. So maybe
because it's not ready to happen. I can't tell you, a lot of people know that I had 4 days of visions between 2017 and 2018 and channeled everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, the vaccine, the government. But it wasn't time to do anything. So sometimes we get our messages. It's a way to be in concert, be in this wonderful collaborative aspect to the higher self and soul to prepare. So it's your time right now to look around and go, how do I prepare for these changes that are coming? See, the ego, oh my God, I got to do the changes now. I got to make it happen. No, you're just getting a heads up. So, I see this a lot with clients they know they're going to move, and I'm like, okay, just start packing stuff or get rid of stuff you no longer need. They're like, I'm trying to find a house and I'm not able to, and I'm like, because it's not time to move. But you're getting the heads up to prepare, and that's where you're at right now. Cassidy, it's about preparing. Okay, cool. All right, keep us posted.
Thank you.
We have great guests coming on. Okay, talk to you later.
Thanks, bye.
Bye. Love that. Great question, Cassidy. Preparation time. Hi, welcome to Awakenings. You're on air. Hello. Okay, we'll come back to you. Hello. 240. Okay, yeah, you're on air. Hi, what's your first name?
Hi, my name is Amara. How are you?
Amara. Hi, Amara. What's your question?
Hi. So my question is, I had recently lost something that was very personal to me, and I guess I'm just trying to figure out if I should still look for it, or maybe I should just give up trying to look for it. I'm not sure.
Lost something? I can barely hear you. You lost something?
Right. And my question is about something that I had lost. And, I'm just trying to figure out if I should continue looking for it or if it's a hopeless situation.
I hear, let it have some space. Give it a little bit of a break. I'm hearing 2 weeks, 2 months. So it feels like you're going to find it or discover it in an unlikely place. So, yeah, just give it a little break and then come back to it is what I'm hearing. All right, Amara?
Okay. Right, but the thing is,
Thank you for your question. Okay, let's see here. Hi, welcome to Awakenings. You're on air.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hi, what's your first name?
My name is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. What's your question?
I'm trying to figure out what I should do next in my life. I'm going to be 63, and I'm not sure how much life I have left, and I want to make the most of it.
Okay. So what are you drawn to?
I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
Okay. So usually when someone's in that position, it's about that you're in the taste test time. I call it looking at the hors d'oeuvre tray or the dessert tray. It's trying this and that. So you're trying to figure it out through your rational mind, your beta consciousness, the left hemisphere of your brain, the masculine part, the yang wants to do something. And for you to connect with a deeper part of your soul, you have to do more of, you know, meditation, contemplation, just seeing where your natural joy is, just trying things. It's almost like getting a box of chocolates and you taste one, you're like, oh, that's not really what I want. And you taste another one, that's not really what I want. So this is part of your awakening, is to allow yourself this process without pushing yourself into a hole, is what I'm hearing, if that makes sense, like a box or a hole. It's like pigeonholing yourself. So that's because even if I told you what it is, the state that you're in right now, it wouldn't fit. It has to feel right to you. It has to be something that you find, focus on, and then there becomes more and more of a natural joy. And I also feel that you're healing from this somehow. Either you weren't allowed the decision before, or you went in one direction and really deep inside there was another direction that wanted to come in. So this is also part of your healing, to get more into your self-rule, your own autonomy. In a sense that you're individuating. So you're going to have to kind of forget about the chronological age and realize that you're individuating. This is you becoming more of an individual aspect, and not just on a human ego level, but a soul level. Okay? Great book that can be helpful, Awakening the Heroes Within by Carol Pearson. That can open some doors and some insights. But yeah, you're just going to have to let yourself feel it out, experimental, try different things. Some you'll keep, some you won't. And then the opening will start coming through intuitively, the right direction for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sweetie, you're so welcome. Please keep us posted. You're welcome. Now we're going to go back. Hi, welcome. You're on Awakening. Hello. Oh, it's the dance party. Okay. Woo, nice music. Okay, love that. EDM. Hi, welcome to Awakenings. You're on air.
Hi, Michelle. It's Dominique. How are you?
Who is it, Dominique?
Dominique. Yes, Dominique.
Hi, Dominique. Nice to connect.
Hi. Nice to connect. I have to calm myself down because I'm so excited right now, and I have no idea. So it sounds like I'm nervous, but I'm really not. I'm just like so excited. But the reason that I called is to help kind of ground that energy, but also like channel it, because what happened was I've been touching base with you every so often because I am in this huge shift, and it feels so amazing. Not all the time, but I am definitely like, I just not quit my job, but my last day, I put in my notice for November 19th. And so it was a job I was so looking forward to. I even called you to see if I was going to get it, and I got it. And I was like, I've wanted to do this all my life. Well, come to find out, I just couldn't produce in the job. I could not produce, and it was the easiest thing. I was so looking forward to it, but I just am not supposed to be there. I know that I'm keeping myself small, and that we talked before. I know that I have some things to write and to publish and stuff like that. The thing is, now that I put my notice in, of course I don't have anything lined up because I'm not supposed to do that. I'm just supposed to do whatever it is I'm supposed to do next, but it's going to be like my creative energy that I'm also going to be able to live off of and thrive off of and create like some sort of, set some foundation for my 2-year-old son and my family. And so I just want help with how to figure that out. Like, it's like, okay, you're going to write a book, and I have some content that I've been working on, but it's like, I don't know what to put out and where to start, and, you know, and there's many things that I want to do besides that I know will all come together. So how can I, like, just focus and make up my mind and be clear about what I should do? I guess is my question. Yeah.
So you're a little bit of like what Lisa called in about. And this is the thing that we, even on the spiritual path, we try to handle it non-spiritually. And I deal with this a lot in my practice because I'm trained in transitional counseling. People, and I'll work with the execs, people that are like 6-7-figure jobs and they're changing their career and they want to do it like how they did it in their corporate. Like, I want to know what it is, and no one escapes this unless you have. Sometimes you get to a point where your change is going to be so intrinsic and so deep, it's on a soul level, that the ego, you, the little self, isn't going to know what to do.
My whole
so
body
you
is
have
influenced.
to do. Yeah, so you have to try various things. You have to literally experiment until you land on something. Again, I call it that dessert tray or hors d'oeuvre tray. You know, here comes the hors d'oeuvre tray, and you look and you go, no, I don't want any of that. Oh, I'll try that. You take a little taste. I'll try that. I'll try. So I'm going to suggest to you also Awakening the Heroes Within book also.
Okay.
You can't, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to see where not very, but I have been resistant to that because that feels almost like failure or immaturity in, you know, my society, because I feel like people will be like, you are 31 years old, you have a 2-year-old son, how are you just, you know, you have been experimenting for the longest, you know, I dragged out my schooling and went from job to job.
This is why I do I do the transpersonal therapy and transpersonal psychology and all the repatterning. These kinds of questions, and even some of the other callers, this means you need emotional healing, repatterning.
Yes.
That's the soul. We don't get to our soul until we do enough emotional healing. Like, what are those beliefs? We have to challenge those existing beliefs. Not just what's out there in the mainstream world, but what's inside our head. What did we grow up thinking? So this is the time, everyone. I mean, Dominique, this is for you, but this is for so many callers and listeners, the people that called in today and listeners out there. If you're feeling stuck, what do you need to deal with emotionally? What's the belief? What's the pattern? And some of you don't.
And will meditation help that?
No, you got to do. You got to work. Go on my website, soulplayground.life. There's, I guess it's in the Soul Path support and Soul Path tools. 5-step emotional clearing process. That'll get you started to become aware of the patterns that are holding you back and the beliefs. Affirmations help, but if you don't do the emotional clearing work, it doesn't matter how many affirmations. You have to begin to shift that pattern. A lot of people are going to be pushed into this, I mean, in a huge way next year, because they're going to realize that they have to do something, but they're holding themselves back due to how they were, their upbringing, their family belief system, their cultural belief system. So I would say do that. And then for you, Dominique, or others that are listening in a similar place, you may have to do a transitional job. You may have to say, okay, I'm going to do this job for money coming in and to organize my time while I work on this part of me. Because once you work on this part of yourself, then you'll be more willing to take the chances or the chance to do more of what you want to do in your life. Yeah? Great question. Thank you so much, because this...
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and today's topic is so for you and many others, some of you that called in earlier, we've got to challenge the existing beliefs, whether it's from your family, your culture, your religion, your society, or what cultura we say in Spanish, or the mainstream world. If we don't challenge these beliefs, Yeah. All right, sweetie, hang on. We got our guest coming on, and you'll do it. You just, sometimes we have to look at what our beliefs and what is the emotional reason we have these beliefs, and then to begin to challenge them and get support. Be around more people that don't have those beliefs that are holding you back. That's key. That's critical.
And can I just thank you really quickly, Michele, before you move on?
That's it. Just stay on the line. I think this show is going to be very helpful for you, the next part as well. All right, sweetie? That you got what you need to do.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Big hug. You guys, that's such a great question because I got to tell you, as a psychic channeler medium, sometimes things aren't psychic. They're like, no, you could see everything psychically for someone, but we can block ourselves, right? If we have beliefs that are blocking us, or we don't feel good enough, or we have lack of self-esteem, or not confident enough, it doesn't matter what reader you go to and what you see. That's why it's up to us to handle those beliefs, do what we need to do. All right, I'm fired up and I'm ready for our awakened guest to come on, Chris Reck. It's so timely for him coming on today. He's the founder and creator of Menopon Tarot, which is based on the YouTube video platform. Chris does a lot with manifesting your goals and what I would call prosperity consciousness, overcoming limitations and limiting beliefs. To me, in a world that is so noisy right now, Chris is definitely a voice that needs to be heard and that is definitely rising above. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Michele. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad that you're our guest today and calling in. I mean, it's just been amazing. We've had all kinds of weird glitches and stuff on the program, communication stuff. Almost like there was like this opposition, to getting the message out. A lot of callers calling in with things that clearly are not psychic. It's about their beliefs, or what they think they can do or not do that's blocking them. So this is such a timely conversation that we're having today. Let's just to start to kick it off. I'm sure a lot of the listeners know of you already, but those that don't, just a little bit about your background and how you came to create your Menopon Tarot, which to me that's just like a vehicle for other stuff. It's like, you're doing readings, but you're also imparting some amazing insight and wisdom and kind of how to. So what brought you to create and found Menopon Tarot?
Yeah, sure. I've always been into like tarot. I think I said this last time. My grandma, she's the one who told me that she said I was an Aquarius. I'm actually a Pisces, but I remember when I was little, and she said, you're an Aquarius, but that's kind of like what got me started into the whole, into tarot, astrology, everything like that. But I wasn't really, I spent a lot of time in business, and I had a marketing agency before I started the channel, which ends up kind of failing. And, I kind of sat around and did nothing for a few years. And my mom, her daughter, my grandmother's daughter, my mom, she said, hey, why don't you read cards? You're always messing around with cards, because I always have a deck. I actually started reading playing cards. I always have a deck of cards around me. So, and I had a problem with my hands as well. I had a severe eczema on my hands. And she was like, hey, that's probably energy that's trying to leave your hands. So I was literally that night that I started my channel when she suggested that. Yeah.
Wow. Now,
so
is your mom and grandmother, are they metaphysically inclined or into astrology or anything like that, or spirituality or spiritualism? Is that an interest of theirs?
My grandmother, it's kind of interesting. She's very religious, so she's against it. But she was, and my mom is very, my mom is very intuitive, very spiritual.
Yeah, because interesting the direction that they gave you, especially your mom, like that's probably energy wanting to be released. I mean, that's pretty powerful to kind of get that
right,
hit,
yeah.
And which it sounds like it was, it's almost like the person, the feet keep moving and it's like, okay, let's be a dancer now. So it's almost like this because I look at shuffling cards a lot of times. It's like a meditation, you know. The energy is going through the hands.
Absolutely.
It's focusing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, Chris, I gotta just say, and I really do believe your voice is like worth listening to. I mean, I kept going to, you know, when I was kind of tuning in earlier before the program, I was like, it's like you're getting such great guidance for people and bits of wisdom in that I think is so timely right now, because there is so much, not just noise and chatter, but there's so much opposition to people being able to like think differently or believe differently or create their own reality. There's like this, you know, mainstream or race consciousness narrative that's kind of hurting people in this certain direction. And you're always challenging that, which I think is so great. And I think people need to do that. I think we need to challenge, as you put, the existing beliefs. What is your thought on that, of the current times and where people's focus would be best used at this time?
Yeah, I think that, you know, I've noticed, you know, I would say since maybe 2016 or so, kind of like more of like what I call a holding pattern, where it seems like people are almost like waiting for something to happen, like waiting for change, waiting for permission, you know, waiting for information or news or whatever, and waiting to like move forward on their dreams, or waiting to, you know, move cross country, or, you know, get a job or start something that they want to start. And so I think, you know, people are kind of stuck in this waiting pattern. I kind of, you know, I always talk about Neptune and Pisces, because to me, Neptune and Pisces is like a direct challenge to traditional beliefs. So, you know, I think anything that, like, you know, let's say you were raised to go to college and, you know, get a job. It's like Neptune and Pisces might challenge you and be like, well, there are no jobs, so you're going to have to create your own business, you know, which might be kind of like maybe your parents raised you a certain way. And so it's kind of like a direct challenge to that. I think the hardest part is definitely getting started right now and getting moving on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like metaphysically there's this, you know, talk about the philosopher's stone, or rubbing the diamond really hard to make it polish, looking at the impurities, you know, in alchemy to create change. And I feel like many people, the squeeze is to get to people to think more creatively, come up with creative solutions, and get moving, try something, which you talk a lot about on your channel, Minopon Tarot, is people to get moving or try something, or just, you know, and I feel like that squeeze, and sometimes it's maybe paralyzing people where they don't want to do anything, or they're waiting. By the way, what do you think they're waiting for? What is the wait? I mean, is it waiting for permission or some things to change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that in a lot of ways it is like waiting for permission. It's like, imagine, you know, we had Saturn and Capricorn as well. I always think of like, you know, grandpa, or the, you know, the like the stern father. I mean, to me that is like the ultimate Saturn energy when it's in Capricorn like that. So I think people are like waiting almost for, you know, the father, whatever that energy is, to say, okay, you can go and do this. But it's like the permission doesn't exist. And I would also say the other challenge with that Saturn and Capricorn energy is going to be having a solid plan. I always tell people to focus on like the 80-20 rule. And also I think of like justice energy. I know I'm getting a little crazy here, but, you know, I think of like cause and effect. Like what I would be focusing on right now is trying something. If it works, keep moving in that direction. If something doesn't work, I would stop and kind of go backwards a little bit. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me? I'm back. God, I cannot believe what is going on. Oh, you hear me, but what about Chris? Where is Chris now? Let's see. Chris? I don't hear Chris. Marble is breaking. Oh, this is so bizarre. This has never happened. Interesting that this is the topic. Okay, you guys can hear me in the chat. What about Chris? Oh, no. Where are you, Chris? I guess, Chris, call back in. I'm not sure what happened. This has literally never happened. I cannot believe. Is it the topic? Is it the topic? Chris, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We have had such bizarre sound stuff today. I can't even tell you. So you were talking about the Saturn. So interesting, Saturn with structure.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yes. Yeah, right. Exactly. And the structure just because I'm logged in and it shows that but then it keeps coming up on the switchboard. You're not connected, and then people couldn't hear me. I don't know if they could hear you in the chat. Maybe they could hear you. Anyway, yeah, Rand writing. Yep, so much energy. Okay. So, yeah, Saturn wants to do something tangible, right? Is that what you were starting to say? Would the Saturn Capricorn energy want to be trying to make something happen, or is it?
Yeah, I think I was saying that. I think I was saying that, Saturn Capricorn really wants a solid plan. And also, I was talking about the 80-20 rule, and I was kind of talking about more of like the justice, energy, cause, and effect, kind of following along with that.
Okay, I think they were able to hear you in there. Yeah, so that 80-20 rule, which would be if you could just recap that.
Yeah, sure. The 80-20 rule is you get pretty much 80% of your results from 20% of the work that you're doing. So I do think that there is like an energy where people might think they're doing things that are important, but they're actually not doing things that are important. So it's about like paying attention to the activities, the things that, move you closer to your goal faster.
Okay. So my sense, too, I'm so excited to have this conversation because so many people, we need to talk about this, everyone. We have to start manifesting differently, right? I mean, we are at this critical point, and I think like what you're talking about with all this Neptunian energy, it's like we can't push or make things it's not like about the labor or the grunt force to make it happen. Which is a lot of the callers, if you listen back, that's what they were saying. They were trying to make it happen, like they quit the job, but they don't know what they want to do, and they're trying to make it happen. What can I do to make it happen? But then they're losing touch with their intuition, or the guidance towards what it is that brings them joy or what it is in the moment. So I don't know if you could speak to that, like with all this kind of Neptunian haze, what's the best way for people to start making whatever it is they want happen?
Yeah, I would say, like, number one, start small. I always say, like, with this energy, I would, have your big goal in mind. Like, maybe you want to buy a yacht and, buy 10 Ferraris or whatever it is you want to do. Think of that. That's fine. Have your crazy dream. But I would also kind of, like, bring it back and realize that things probably, number one, aren't going to happen as quickly as you would like. And I would also, I think the easier thing to do is to come up with maybe like 2 or 3 ways that you're going to accomplish the goal as well, whatever you're trying to start, instead of just one. I think it's important that we stay focused, but at the same time, it's like the way we think that we're going to get to the finish line is probably not the way that we're going to get there. So I think having I'm very much against having a plan B or a plan C. I think, as I say, it distracts from plan A. But this is a little bit different because you're still working towards the same goal. You're just coming up with different potential ways that you could accomplish it.
So in a way, what I'm hearing is people should not to get so locked in to how it's going to happen or what to do.
Yeah, I would be more flexible, and I would follow your inspirations as well. I mean, if you might think to yourself, I'm going to go start this business or whatever, and then maybe your first instinct or your first feeling is to watch like a TV show. And, I gave this example a couple weeks ago. I said, I think the way that we're taught, we would judge that. We would say, oh, no, I have to, force this to happen. I have to get to work. But you never know. You might watch a TV show that gives you like a better idea if you're following your kind of like your more intuition, if you're following something you're inspired to do. You might get some sort of, a better idea by kind of going towards more, esoteric guidance.
Which, again, is that Neptune and Pisces, and
right.
Not overthinking it, like trying to make it happen. and following that, I always look at inspirations like a form of intuition. You get inspired about something, it's coming through that inspiration saying, this is the way to go. This is the unfolding, which I find once people start living more like this, it's quite fun. It's more fun and magical for sure. But it does take some, you got to just try it, that's people just got to try it.
Yeah, and I think people, kind of feel you kind of feel resistance at first to doing it. So I think maybe that's a little bit of a challenge as well.
Okay, we got a couple of comments in the chat. One, JZHM May. So releasing the possible resisting thoughts against an idea, would that be it? And then Rand writing is, love this example, Chris. He follows you on YouTube, by the way. So that's a good question. Is it releasing, because we're talking about challenging existing thoughts or current beliefs or existing beliefs, which, by the way, with the title, I was thinking the fact that it's existing, it could become non-existing too, right? It could become extinct if we wanted to. So would that be part of it, Chris? Is that because there is a lot of resisting thoughts and people are getting a lot of resistance externally in the form of thoughts, communication, and beliefs. Is per May here, is it possible to resist it? What do we do with that resisting thoughts or beliefs that are counter to what we want?
Well, I would say, if we're experiencing resistance, usually it's trying to kind of move us in another direction. It's trying to move us away from whatever we are kind of resisting. So I usually try to move away from resistance. The only thing, I think the one difference is I think there's a difference between maybe resisting something and not wanting to see something that could be a truth. So, I always say, I think if we're kind of, I do think we have to be honest with ourselves to a certain point, because, again, it is a little tricky right now, because I think there is a little bit of energy where there might be something that we do resist that has answers for us. Maybe, these answers could come from a person we don't agree with. They could come from, something we've never looked into. Could come from anything. So I do feel like we have to kind of maybe do a little research and make sure we're not just resisting something. I think there's a difference between, resistance and maybe being a little bit stubborn. But I think that really kind of comes from, being honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the truth. Yeah, I agree with you. I think whatever contemplation, meditation, whatever that objectively as much as possible, looking at oneself, because I do agree. I mean, the energy pattern that I've been seeing coming up has a lot to do with kind of letting these preconceived notions go and labels, like people that I would say that seem to be spiritual, maybe doing yoga, wearing all white, vegan. That may not be where the most consciousness is, or your tribe. You may be sitting next to the meat-eating trucker or whatever, you know what I mean, or what seems to be the opposite, the Republican and your Democrat, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's all about the resonance and intuition. So we might be resisting where our answer, our support, or our help is by preconceived ideas or beliefs. I don't know if you're seeing that as well. Somehow people have to get out of the idea of what something is to see what it really is or what it's becoming.
Oh yeah, I 100%. I 100% agree with you, and I think that, again, exactly. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure a few months ago I said something about a meat eater and a vegan or something like that. But exactly, and I'm pretty sure I said something about that in a video, and I feel the same way, because it's it doesn't mean that you're, agreeing with this person 100%. I think the universe is trying to bring people back to realizing that, we are all, humans. We are in this together. We're all stuck on this planet together, so we might as well kind of work together and make the best of it.
I agree. Yeah, that's one of my favorite examples, because it's both are polarized so far I know some people, I wouldn't do this, I won't do that, they're vegan or yoga, this and that. And it's like, well, if you're in the middle of the desert and your car broke down, you can't call AAA, and a meat-eating smoker comes in and you hate smoking cigarettes, are you going to not get in the truck? You're going to go to the gas station? You're going to wait out there in the middle of the desert, Okay,
yeah,
that's a
good one.
Right? Isn't that, got to drop that stuff, people. Okay, Bold City Flooring Jack asks, where's the best way to do that's a good question. Where's the best way to do the research? Who, where do you look to for inspiration?
I would say, I would just, I like to, YouTube is a great place to do research, whatever it is that you're wanting to learn about. I also like learning from the people that are teaching, like who did they learn from as well? Like who are the people that, taught some of these people on YouTube? A lot of them, have read certain books, or, they have certain mentors that might not be alive today, but, maybe they have a book or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. One thing that I do a lot, and of course, I'm psychic meeting and a trans channel. I get a lot of my, answers, but I like getting confirmations. I look for 3 to 5 confirmations because I want to make sure it's not coming from my ego. I will ask sometimes, I want the confirmation, where's it coming? Or I'll look on YouTube, where's my confirmation? Chris, sometimes you've confirmed quite a bit for me. Keep going. It'll work out. I feel like somebody out there wants to give up on something. I'm just saying you're not. So I think if we ask, the universe provides, and I will wait there and I'll get a flash. Even sometimes it's a video I wouldn't normally watch. I'm like, and then I'll turn it on, and right at the right place, I get my answer. So books, MP3s, authors, like you said, people that have studied, what are the books? I think right now people have to do more willingness to explore and research and perhaps trust their intuition, or where they're feeling either the most, it's not joy, but a pull towards something seems interesting, which means, again, we have to drop our opinion of where the information is coming from, because you might get like a sentence or two that you needed to hear that confirmation, and then the rest doesn't apply, which I think can be
absolutely.
Okay, right?
Absolutely.
So how are we to challenge these existing beliefs? Because you talk a lot about that, like stop believing in this stuff, or, and you keep saying on your channel that this is a time for a lot of possibilities coming through, a lot of opportunity, which is challenging to a lot of people because they look around and go, no, I see everything shrinking, with limitation. Yeah. Yeah,
I think that, number one, I would go back to things that you just believe for no reason. That's the one I always talk about a lot. We all have things that we just believe, and I always say, like, just ask yourself, why do I believe this? Who said this was true? So that's one of them. I even talk with the channel, about the channel itself. Like, there's so many things that I do on the channel that, according to the experts, don't work. So I always recommend people try things, just try whatever they feel, or, try different things that maybe, people claim don't work. So, I think that, experimentation is a good answer right now. Just trying, just seeing how things go, and kind of playing that game.
I like that. So willingness to try things, and again, it goes back to that Saturn and Capricorn energy, and these even though Saturn is cozy, comfortable as co-ruler with Aquarius, that Saturn-Uranus area energy, it still is this like bumping up against. It's like wanting the old, wanting what's tried and true, let me build it, and then Uranus saying, no, I've got a great idea, let's do it differently. It's like it's right? It's just like push-pull. What helped you, and what could you suggest to people if there is that push-pull? Because for some reason I'm finding people are really, there's a resistance to trying different things, or if it seems to be taking too long, we kind of want to give up, like, okay, this isn't it.
I think that, for me, and what I think, especially, you said it actually. You actually answered your own question with Uranus and Taurus. Yep. I go back to Uranus. I go to Uranus and Taurus, and I think values. Like, I have decided for myself what I value, and that could be your standards for your life, like how you want to live your life. What does that look like? So, I always kind of go back to those standards, and I always say, is something I'm trying, is it, adding or subtracting from my standard of living, whatever that means. That could be financial, it could be your health, it could be, about whatever it is. And I always just say, like, is this adding or subtracting from that?
Oh, I like that, Chris. And I say, is it life enhancing? So same kind of thing. We're on the same track here. Because I think that's going to tell you, if it's adding to you, then that means surviving, thriving. That's going to be helpful. Now, the things that you're saying, it does seem like people have to pause a bit, or at least contemplate or look or something at their life. It's like everything you're saying, it's like maybe you've kind of done your own research on yourself and your life or what you want. It didn't just happen. You had to look and see what's going on in me or in my life. So it seems like there's some kind of contemplation there, or is it thinking things through, or meditation? Seems like there's some kind of process that you're doing to decide what it is that you want to do or where you want to go.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of meditation, a lot of thinking. I actually haven't been in a while, but I walk a lot. So I think getting clear that way is a great thing to do. And then also, just experiencing, setting, you're going to have to start small, obviously, because it's not going to happen overnight. So you have to, kind of say like, okay, what could kind of move me a little bit closer to a better standard of living, or my ideal day, or whatever you want to call it. What's like one thing that I could do tomorrow? And so again, it's going to be like experimentation and trying something. It could be, making your bed in the morning. It could be whatever. But, as long as you try it, and if you add something, and again, if it adds, I would say keep doing it and then try something else. And it's crazy. Again, I've improved my life significantly, not bragging here, but compared to like 2 years ago, it's significantly better just by that simple process. And like I say to everybody, it's free. It doesn't cost any money. So it's not something that's hard to try.
Yeah. And I feel, and I know you've talked about this before with looking at the astrology, I feel like that's the soul call right now, is to improve our individual lives. We have to start doing all this individually before it aggregates and becomes more in the masses. So I agree, because I've been doing the same. I'm pause and I'll get the hit to do this or do that, or like, is this taking me in the right direction? Is this really what I want or where I want to go? It almost feels like we're supposed to be harnessing our lives more. I don't know. It's kind of like this. I just feel like everybody's kind of being challenged to, like, even though it's weird on the outer, like, again, in the mainstream world, it's like the idea of like herding people in like this kind of group mentality, like this is the way that it's to be done. But then there seems to be this other way that it's very individual, like, what do you want to do? What do you focus on? What you want and what you want to live and what you want to create. Does that make sense? You're seeing that?
Yeah, that makes. Yeah, I totally agree with that too. I that makes sense to me. I think that I've said it before as well, that I think that it's being an example for other people. So, by kind of achieving something great at this time, other people around you will see it, and I think it's harder to ignore it. So it's kind of like motivating to other people. So you are helping other people. You are increasing the abundance by living some sort of goal or whatever it is you're trying to achieve yourself. Because again, you're helping other people by being an example.
Wow. Okay, that's a really, really good point, because a lot of times people think, and again, old paradigm, that they have to be outwardly doing something. Like, I have to be a nurse, I have to be a fireman or a doctor, or I have to be, doing tarot or whatever. I have to be, doing Reiki. But actually what you're saying is, by being the example, living this way, people are going to notice. I think it's also going to radiate vibrationally. It's going to radiate into the mix vibrationally, this way of living. So you're actually saying people doing this is actually also really, really helpful to where we're ultimately going, what we're all manifesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, just going to, it's all going to spill over.
Right. Okay. So, Jamie, is it Jamie? How might one keep with something they may not be getting motivating feelings on? Okay, that's very interesting. Without putting doubt into it.
That's, I would say, I have a hard time with this one. I've had people ask me this question. I think if you're not motivated to do something, then it's probably a clue that you shouldn't do it. Or I would say if you're doing something, and let's say it's providing you something energetically like money or happiness or whatever, but maybe you're just not feeling motivated, I would say, like, how can I make this something that I am motivated to do? I'll give you an example. Like, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a chef at one point, and then I started working at a cafe I worked at. I started baking, and I didn't like it. I didn't like doing it, but I still like cooking, and I still cook every single night. I just don't do it professionally. So, I things like that, I kind of get what Jamie is talking about here, and I would just say, like, how can you make it something, you're going to have to change it into something that you actually want to do. And if not, then you're going to have to find something else.
Yeah, I agree. And I sometimes call those jobs transitional jobs. And if we trick the ego, the human part of us, the little self, the brain, and say, like what you said, Chris, okay, this job is helping me financially to do what I really want to do. Now, the thing is, for that to work, you have to be bridging to something else. Because if you say, oh, one day or in 5 years, I'm going to do what I really want to do, it's not going to work. You have to actively be working on, right? Yeah. A lot of people are like, 5 years from now. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're miserable. They hate it. They get fired. Weird things happen. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, thank you. Now, I like this about, somebody was talking about tarot, super important, but feels astrology is becoming increasingly important. I think all of it is going to be. If you had to pick a favorite tool between astrology or tarot, what would it be?
Ooh.
I can't choose. I like them both. So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I rely on both so much. I really don't think I can choose.
In fact, I like to use it for clarity. If I get a hit, whether I see something in tarot or I work with my guides or channeling something psychically, I like to look at the astrology because it always backs it up. The astrology will show you and also gives you kind of a tangible reason why something is happening. Something to kind of bite into and go, oh, that's that transit. That makes sense why this is happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Tammy's got a question. Tammy said, I think he uses a blend of both on his YouTube readings for each sign. Yeah. I don't see how it cannot sneak in, right, Chris? It does. Now Chris, Chris. Okay, go ahead. Let me get a question.
No, I was just going to say it sneaks in.
Yeah, it just explains a lot too, doesn't it? I mean, it really, especially if you look at electional, or you look at transits or why, and you can look and see certain aspects or certain transit, and then you can go back in time to when that transit happened, and it'll be very similar to what's happening in the present during that transit. So it's kind of confirming, maybe. I guess maybe in a way it confirms.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think electional astrology is probably the most accurate out of the most accurate. I don't know if you want to call it really a system. It's more, I look at it as a study, electional, but I would say it's probably the most accurate.
Yeah. Okay, another question. Does Chris personally rely on tarot?
No, I don't read for my. I mean, the way I learned is to not read for myself. So, I'm not against it or anything. I just don't read for myself. I mean, I do have other people that read for me, so kind of, but not really.
Not really. Yeah. Yeah, and I think with all this stuff, I don't know about your thoughts on this, Chris, but I ultimately believe all of these divination tools lead us to our own intuition, and or for some maybe down the road psychic abilities, or it's like to use them, but then it's also to develop our own intuition and inner knowing. I don't know your thought on that.
Yeah, it's like you're I would consider when I do more channeling anyway. I sometimes, I'm sure you've noticed, I don't even use like some of the card meetings that are in front of me. So I consider when I do more channeling, I just use them as a grounding instrument. And I think after a while, it's almost like you get so much confirmation that you just start to, I think, trust yourself more. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it kind of opens the door. It's like a little portal, and then you just start getting the messages, hearing things, seeing things, feeling things. You just start getting the downloads, getting into that Akashic or the subtle energy or universal energy or whatever and picking it up. So I think if you're really, years ago someone told me you could either be a psychic reader where you just use it to like open or tickle or open your intuition. And then there are those people, and you can tell the difference, that are like amazing tarot readers, but they're like by the book tarot. I mean, no matter what card they see, right? It's that mean. I had a teacher that was like that, and I'd be like, well, it doesn't mean that. Oh no, it means this. When you see that Three of Swords, that's this. Heart tried by pain, three-sided relationship, and I'm like, well, it could be inner pain, or they're going, no, it's a three-sided relationship. But that worked for her, and but I think, if you're intuitive or psychic, it's like you're just going to get the messages and not, overdevelop, depend on the meaning of the cards, I guess.
Yep.
Sue in the chat said, I think tarot was helping me open up more to my intuition. I think it does. I mean, now, aren't you doing it? Did I see somewhere you are doing a tarot course or something? Did you start that?
Yeah, I did start the tarot course. I'm doing a super deep dive into all the cards. We're looking at, the deeper meanings on some of the cards, some of the deep imagery, and things like that.
Cool. Now, what's the best website? Of course, you have Minnow Pond Tarot Channel on YouTube. What's the best website for people to connect with you?
Probably the channel right now, or the social media accounts. Actually, the site is being overhauled at the moment. So I don't even, I'm pretty sure the site is actually down. But, any of my social channels are fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so, and even I know Instagram for sure, YouTube.
Yeah, Instagram,
are you on Facebook as well? Okay.
I'm on Facebook, Minnow Pond Tarot.
Very cool. Well, Chris, we made it through. I don't know what the heck was going on with the energy today with the, disconnecting on the switchboard, but we made it through. And
we made it.
Thank you so much for, I know, right? And come back again. I love what you're sharing. I think anybody, if you want like some inspirational hits and guidance, your channel definitely delivers that for sure. Got a lot of people saying thanks in the chat. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, co-creating this. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
As always,
this
is great. Yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone, that was Chris Reck. If you just got in for the last part of the program, you can catch the rest in the archives. You can go to Minnow Pond Tarot on YouTube or Instagram and Facebook. And that was Chris Reck, founder and creator of Minnow Pond Tarot. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Great questions. Great to connect with all of you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. As always, just keep that connection to your own inner knowing. Also, if you want to find out more about the holographic healing work and emotional clearing, repatterning, and also using crystal healing bowls, you can find out more of that at soulplayground.life. Go to the courses and classes section. That'll be this Saturday. Lots of love and light to all of you, and always remember to share your insight, shine bright, and of course keep awake.
Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michelle's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.